Hey guys, and welcome back to the Natural Learning Python course, and today we are going to be going over while loops. So what is a while loop? A while loop is a loop that says while some statement is true, repeat something over and over again. This is similar to a for loop, but a little different because a for loop is like for I in range, while this is while condition execute something. So when do we apply while loops? So we can actually apply while loops in a lot of cases where we use for loops, and another time we use while loops are when there isn't a defined number of loops that need to be run. So now that we know a little bit about while loops, why don't we take a look at them in a Jupyter notebook? So this is the syntax of a while loop. It's simpler than a for loop. While a condition, do something. So now let's take a look at this program. We're going to see what strings in this list have a length greater than 5. We know how to do this with a for loop, but let's try to do it with a while loop. So we need to make a counter. So we're going to call the counter, and we're going to say counter equals 0. So we're going to say while counter is less than the length of my list, we're going to go use this counter to iterate through this list. We will say if len of my list with the index position counter is greater than 5, print my list counter. So this is the basic part. However, there's one part that we have to do with a while loop that we didn't have to do with a for loop. In the while loop, we have to say counter is equal to counter plus 1 because we need to increase the counter, because if we start, it will be counter equals 0 and it takes a look at London. But unless we explicitly say that we have to increase the counter by 1, it won't go to Hanoi, Tokyo, and Washington, D.C. So, oh right, my bad. I said it was my list. We need to be careful and make sure that we execute the right one. So my cities is the name that we're executing. We run it and it looks good. So what happens if we remove this part? We get London over and over again. Kind of scary, right? We call this an infinite loop. So infinite loops, when they happen, we need to address them right away. So what we do is we press kernel and then we say restart and clear output. And then we have to wait a bit of time. And then we fix the problem. And we are fixing the problem by saying counter is equal to counter plus 1. Then we check and it looks good. So now let's take a look at Factorial Program, but with a while loop. So for this, we're going to define 3 variables. The first variable will be what factorial we're doing. So we will say n equals 6. We're going to do 6 factorial. The second variable will be the counter. We'll call it c. We'll say c equals 1. And the third variable, we're going to call it product, because we're going to keep multiplying the product with the new counter each time, as we saw when we did it with the for loop. So we're going to say product is equal to 1. So we're going to say while c is less than or equal to n, because we need to repeat it up until it gets to n, product equals product times c. And then we're going to say c equals c plus 1. And then outside of the loop, we're going to say print product. So this is pretty similar to the way we did it with the for loops, except this time we have a counter instead of saying in the range. And let's print it, and it works. And let's change n to 5. It works. So these are how while loops work, and as always, this was Natural Learn. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and have a great day.